Bulking is a very outdated method for gaining muscle. Hey, everybody, I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And when I say bulking, I am not meaning the term we often use for any weight gain. I am talking about more of the more slang version where a lot of people think of as kind of dirty bulks, to where you are gaining weight quickly enough to gain body fat. And the fact of the matter is, it's just outdated. And I used to be somewhat resistant to that idea. This is where we have to evolve as people. We have to look at the objective evidence, the objective data, and not be resistant to this. Because I've even been critical of certain influencers saying, look, we can make only lean gains. I'm like, yeah, but it's really hard. But the truth is, it really isn't, is it? It really isn't. So on that particular stance, I'm going to have to recant my position there, and I have for quite a while. But I need to really be serious about that and saying, look, the evidence that I've seen both in the lab, my observations as a coach, chatting with a lot of other coaches that I know, the idea that we have to gain body fat to gain muscle is simply not supported by the evidence. It is just simply not supported by the evidence either in the real world or in the lab. Now, when I say that, here's the problem that we run into with that. We make that statement and then people will say, but I bulked up and I gained muscle. I bulked up and I gained muscle. And I'm like, of course you did. Because at the end of the day, bulking doesn't prevent you from gaining muscle. Right? It doesn't prevent you from gaining muscle. Overeating doesn't make you gain muscle slower. I want to state that again. It doesn't interfere with you gaining muscle. Some people have tried to say, well, the nutrient partitioning and, well, no. I mean, fat accumulation can get out of control. But you don't gain muscle slower. And that's what the research is pretty much showing when they're measuring very, very small calorie surpluses. To the point where people are gaining almost only lean tissue versus when they put people on large enough surpluses that they are gaining way more fat than they are muscle. When it's measured side by side, they're both gaining around the same amount of muscle mass. The difference is pretty negligible, okay? And this is with DEXA scans and other stuff. And again, I'm talking stuff where they're trying to measure a 3% calorie surplus. And people say it's almost too small to measure. It is. But that's what we notice, is that any calorie surplus, enough to cause any weight gain, and I'm talking a pound a month, seems to cause just as much muscle growth as if you're gaining 2, 3, 4 pounds a month. Okay? That is what the evidence is showing. And it's getting to be more consistent. And keep in mind, we've been saying for years, the biggest problem, a lot of us who said, well, the bulking works, all old school guys did it. Yeah, they did. And because, of course, they're gaining muscle. They're in a calorie surplus, they're lifting weights, and they're eating a lot of protein. And they're training hard. Of course they gain muscle. But the point is, people are gaining fat way more quickly than muscle, and it's not actually helping them gain faster. We used to believe that it did. And I used to make the anecdotal case for it. Well, more anabolic hormones, all of this, all of that, right? But that would make more sense if we were talking about really, really low-fat diets and carb overfeeding because the carbs are not storing as fat, right? That would be more anabolic hormones. But if we're just eating more food in general, not necessarily the case, because you're not getting any anabolic hormones from eating more fat. And no, your testosterone is not going to go up just because you eat more fat. Okay, and even if it did a small amount, it's still not going to cause more muscle growth. We're talking about insulin, IGF-1, all that stuff. But when we're studying it, it's just not turning out to matter. There's no real evidence that the faster bulking is causing muscle growth. And I say the same thing when I've coached clients. And again, I want to be clear, we're not talking about coming out of a contest prep for a bodybuilder, because it's that they can't sustain that level of body fat. That's the issue. Okay? I mean, in theory, they don't even have to gain fat to gain muscle. It's just that their body is so exhausted at 6% body fat and so depleted that they need to gain some body fat just to be able to function, just to be able to continue to train and recover and to have, a decent hormone profile in their body. That's different. But it's not the actual fat gain that's causing the issue. It's the fact that they are at too lean of a level of body fat to function and recover and train optimally. But if someone is at a healthy lean body fat, 12%, 13% body fat, right? Everyone universally agrees, doctors, physique experts, everyone, that is a very healthy body fat level for men. Okay, very, very healthy, good athletic. You may not be shredded, but you're going to have abs. Okay, but you're also going to have a good hormone profile. All right, people who are at that level of body fat, the research just doesn't indicate that they need to bulk fast enough to gain fat, that they don't gain more muscle from it. In other words, someone could stay there, right? If you're in that really healthy body fat range, that 10 to 15% body fat, there is simply no evidence whatsoever that you have to gain any body fat to maximize muscle growth. You can stay there, like you can stay in those percentages indefinitely and keep making progress in the gym. You can keep gaining muscle. And what I mean is we're only going to gain muscle so fast. And that's the point, the problem with the hard bulking. If you're a noob, you can gain maybe 2 pounds of muscle a month for a little while. But if you're gaining weight faster than that, it's fat. You get to be more advanced. You're gaining more than a pound in a month. It is mostly body fat because we're not able to gain a pound or a pound and a half of muscle in a month anymore. We're just not. We're not able to after you've been training, a few years. It doesn't happen. So if your scale is only going up 5 pounds a year, it is not interfering at all with your muscle growth. It's not. You're going to gain muscle just fine. And I've observed this as a coach. A lot of my advanced lifters, we gain 6 to 10 pounds per year. And then they cut back down a little bit because there's a little bit of fat gain with that. And I have guys get to 500 plus pound squats doing this. They just get more jacked every year, right? And it works. I've observed it in clients the longer I've been coaching. The research says the same thing is true. So there's a point where we go, look, the guys who are saying we can make lean gains, they're right. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.